I'm not even going to push you for a prediction on this one, Demo, because I know what you're going to say. You really want G2 to come off the better. We can see the social.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
There's a lot of people coming out in support of Parabellum here.
Yeah.
That's a very tight poll. I wasn't expecting it to be that tight. I was thinking G2, big fan base, a lot of people behind them. 49.5 to 50.5.
Crazy.
Tight stuff.
Crazy. To be fair, Ollie, on the predictions, I have said that Parabellum would win. And the reason why
is I know.
My predictions are terrible, so if I predict Parabellum, then that means G2 will win. Big brain. There it is.
I mean, G2 are going for everything they can get at this point. They're going for the good karma, getting the have funs in chat. That's always a good little bit of karma coming on in. As far as the bans go, we're going to see Doke be removed straight away there by G2. Parabellum going to opt for a more typical Thatcher ban here on Villa. This is where we can see the sort of pressurizing defender bans, whether we do see a Valkyrie removed, whether we see something like a Wamai. Wamai is going to come out there. It's so powerful for holding things like main stairs on Villa. You need every ounce of utility you can as a defender, and without the Wamai, makes that job a little bit more difficult. Yeah,
we've seen a lot of the Brazilian sides really specialize in that Wamai, being able to use it, like you said, for those kind of staircase holds, and especially if we look at Aviator in games, that study, that's where every team wants to try and take control off if you're an attacker. If you can stack up as much utility as you can and try and delay that, it's great. With that being eliminated now, it does free up the attackers a little bit more, so you're probably going to be expecting more nade kills, I would say, more than anything, which I think has been featured quite heavily. Whenever Wamai is gone, the nades just start raining in.
Yeah, they really do. You know, Iana being a popular pick there, Sledge being a must pick. I think Sledge's stats throughout the course of group stage would have been among the highest picked. Not going to see any 6-pick initially here from Parabellum. Instead, just going to be rocking with the good old Ashe Sophia combo. We are going to, however, see a mirror into a clash.
Mirror clash, very similar operators in terms of what they can do. Information at the end of the day. Clash is more of a walking mirror window. It's kind of the comparison we would make with Monty, where it's like a walking drone. Very similar. You can compare that with Clash as well. G2, straight off the rip, Ollie, going for the kitchen defense, usually the tertiary bomb site. Mostly we see the Aviator in games get played first, but no. They're going to go for, which is normally the third pick bomb site. I like the Pulse. I think Pulse, for me, is one of the most underrated operators in Villa. Teams don't understand how strong he is. The information you can gain, couple that with the destructibility that Villa has, which is, if you look at the top floor, about 80%, maybe more, is wooden. Everything. I think there's some areas, top of the red stairs, just right beside the statue door, walk in, and that is it pretty much. Everything else you can get blown up from.
Yeah, the information game is going to be key here on Villa, and that's demonstrated with how many C4s are being brought on the side of G2 as well. Uno going to be able to use his heartbeat scanner to discover that information and then be able to ping out for the rest of his team. Kayak on the Clash as well is just going to be such a difficult thing to try and work your way on through. There are, of course, ways and means of doing it. It requires a bit of coordination, but it usually just does quite a lot to slow down attacking pushes. And that's what G2 are going to be trying to do here. They're going to try and buy as much time as they can by defending that top floor. We can see that Clash is going to be playing in over toward Astro, but we do have Uno underneath already. Able to gather information here for free, as there have been some reinforcements committed there inside of Library.
That's great, and that is so valuable for G2. Now they know that they're trying to take in towards that side of the map, have the information. So yeah, overall, I think this Pulse pick definitely working out. Looks as if he has been spotted out, though. As you see, a yellow ping has landed right beside his feet. So we have Kayak above. Nobody's supporting him as well, which is a little bit surprising. It's just a Clash by himself, but I suppose you have the hatch. You can drop down if needed, but for the most part, already it seems that Parabellum are going to try and take the aggressive standpoint. Oh, Penguin almost found the second kill on the Citizen, but he's lucky to get away, and Citizen inside of China pulls away that shot, and now it is 4 versus 4. I say that, Penguin finds another.
Oh, Citizen does come in with a refrag there, really keeping his team in it, hitting a double kill inside of this round. An equal 3 versus 3. There's still 1 minute and 15 left. There's a lot of time here, really, for Parabellum to work with.
There is Euphoria as well, and the Nomad can try and cover off some of the flanks, which will be great in those later stages. If Parabellum are worried about a potential rotate from Virtue and the Jaeger, that will be put to bed. Citizen has done fantastic throughout this competition, and he is continuing that form once again. Parabellum perhaps looking to push in through Memorial. Sledge in a great position. Eska ready to push onto the bomb site, but that clash is going to be the main thing they have to get through, Ollie.
It really is. The clash in the dying few seconds is going to be extremely valuable. It does leave G2 one gun down, though, so it puts a little bit more pressure onto Citizen and Virtue. Eska maybe going to threaten a grenade here, looking to open up some holes and wait for a little bit of intel to come on through. There's still 6 drones left for Parabellum, so providing they're in the right hands, there's an opportunity to actually gather this information. But with only 20 seconds left, something's going to have to happen. Virtue, he's able to pick up Eska. Spirits before that, just taking down Citizen. So really leaving Virtue in a little bit of a tough spot here, as Kayak is getting pressured as well. But Virtue's going to win his 1 versus 1. Spirits is being clashed, and this round is likely going to be won out on time. Even if Kayak dies here, with the position of the diffuser, it's going to be very difficult to do anything. Kayak manages to save the KD, only gets downed there as the time does tick off before he can be finished off. G2, good start.
Kayak tried his hand there, didn't he? Bit of a spin, but not working for him. Virtue, give credit. That is where the roam potential of Villa comes in massively. Him being able to creep below, coming up those red stairs, finding that important engagement. That was the diffuser as well, which I think is the main thing to get across, is that he stopped the diffuse carrier. Clash, how much did the clash really impact that round? I didn't see that much value out of it, apart from kind of that later stage being able to delay, but mostly everything was won by Citizen and Virtue. They are the ones who were getting the engagement. Citizen, again, continuing that trend. Virtue, who, for me, has had a pretty sloppy tournament so far. Someone who did have, I think, a really big moment against Dark Zero, where he looked back to his big 1 versus 3 clutch that he got, but other than that, we have not seen the same Virtue that we have known from, for example, last year, whenever he was still on Fnatic. This guy was amazing, but we haven't seen that same person. Can we see him in a best of 3 on the main stage?
I mean, he started off round 1 exceptionally well. 2 kills, 0 deaths. Probably the best way that you could look to start in terms of a team contribution, unless you can hyper carry and grab the ace yourself, but that isn't something that you really want to be seeing all too often. It was a nice hold from G2. It gives them the luxury now of going upstairs into Aviator and Games Room. Slightly different lineup. Kayak this time going to be playing on the mute. The Clash, obviously, a bit of a pocket pick there for what they wanted to do downstairs in Kitchen. Makes a lot of sense to switch things up. I like the addition here of Kanto's change onto a Rooney. I think that's something that could work quite well.
Missing out on the Jaeger, but then again, the laser gates can still be used in that kind of element where you can deny projectiles being tossed in. Is it as reliable? I mean, ADS placements, you can get some pretty sneaky ones, which is kind of like the pros and cons.
I think the advantage in this situation is that Parabellum don't look to be pressuring the grenades. They're only bringing 2.
Yeah.
Now, when you can bring 4 very easily, if you bring Guyana instead of the Ash or something like that, that you can start worrying about the Jaeger a little bit more there. But 2 nades? Is it really worth something, you know, is it really worth worrying about? We've not seen Jaeger be picked as much as we usually do so far inside of the playoffs.
Which is surprising. Jaeger for the longest of time as Eska takes a bullet to the back from Spirits. But he's still fine, healthy enough still to play out this round. G2, they are heavily pressuring that library side once again. Downstairs, trying to find out the information with a pulse. And as you can see, Ollie, they have Kayak with Uno. That's another C4, so there is potential of a double C4 kill from below.
Essentially, Kayak's just waiting down here to get himself a C4 kill, and then he's going to be able to make a rotation on up if possible. Uno just going to wait and try and call out. Make sure that it's guaranteed. It's always very difficult when you're trying to communicate with your teammate, as opposed to being in the scanner yourself and then being able to toss it on through. But Kayak gets the job done there. Beautiful teamwork coming in from Uno and Kayak downstairs. Now, they do have air jabs to worry about. They're not going to be able to get back upstairs so freely, but they can continue to harass and challenge inside of this library, because the vertical pressure, or the reverse vertical pressure, is going to be enough, at the moment at least, to back Parabellum off.
And Uno still has his own C4 as well, but he's not going to need it! He just floor bangs him! Oh my word! Filth! Absolute filth from Uno!
Penguin going to find a frag back in return, but still going to leave Penguin and Eska in a pretty unfavourable situation. Citizen there with the pre-fire onto Eska. Esker carelessly sprinting around that 90 corridor. Penguin now locked into study. Finds one onto Kai because he rotates back on up. 40 seconds left to play and still information being able to be gathered. The benefit there of Uno going for the floor bang is he's still got a C4 here. It's not even going to come to that. Citizen, he goes for a stroll towards East Stairs, finds Penguin. G2, another round.
Well, G2, dominant. I'm trying to keep that inner fanboy at bay for the meantime, Ollie. Trying my hardest. It's early days yet. I'm not going to start saying, yes, come on. I'm not, you know.
Here's the thing.
There.
G2 are doing really well at the minute. They are relying so heavily on Library. As soon as Parabellum figure that out, and they say, you know what, we're going to take control of Library. We have a Nomad. We have things. We have ways and means of locking that area off. Because if this Pulse is going to be a consistent pick from Uno, which it looks like it might be, that's what they're going to use to gather a lot of their information. Parabellum now need to react.
One thing that I did notice about G2 setup is if Library was a target for Parabellum, there were a lot of vertical holes actually being made with inside of the bomb site. We've seen Kanto using the robotic arm on Aruni to punch out those holes, and you have straight sight lines onto the doorways off Library. So not only do you have people in Library, but then you also have Overwatch support from above. So even if that was to be the case, I think Parabellum would still have a very difficult time.
I mean, G2 love Library that much, they're actually going to take us here as the site. This is quite a rare treat. We don't get to see this all too much. We see it a little bit inside of BR6, but we don't get to see it all too much in Europe.
So, this bomb site, for people who may have not been kind of used to seeing this be played at a competitive level, it is a bit of a tricky one. And the reason why it's tricky is that A bomb site, that living room. There is a blind spot where you can plant as an attacker, and it's very, very difficult for defenders. So if we want to go down onto the Library, you will see a pillar, okay? That pillar right behind that bomb, that is a blind spot. If you cannot get an angle, the only way you can deny that is either with, obviously, smokes or a C4. That is why it's not as favored for the defenders. Very, very difficult to deal with. Not only that, you also have two walls that lead directly into the bomb site, yeah? But one thing that a lot of teams have started to do as well is they would hold in towards Aviator and Games. And inside a vault, you can find a sight line onto the breach. So you can open up these vertical holes above, and you will have full coverage of anyone who tries to go for that sneaky plant.
C4s, you say? G2 have 4. They have invested heavily into these C4s. It's been something that's been a bit of a trend so far on Villa. They've been very successful with it. Kanto is going to be that player upstairs that's going to have those vertical angles to work with inside a vault. Sona trying to get this roam clear done, knowing that people are going to be playing in upstairs. Gets the glimpse, but isn't able to land any significant damage.
One thing as well about this setup from G2 is because those angles inside a vault are so dangerous and you just cannot play against them if you're trying to push directly onto site, it forces Parabellum to try and challenge above. So now they are forced into a system where they constantly have to try and clear out these roamers, and as we know, that's going to take time. They could lose people on the course of that, and hey, we've seen plenty of times that teams have tried to attack the roamers and the round has been ended before we've even seen any bomb site action.
I really like the position of that Banshee as well behind the sofa. It's just going to be so difficult to push on through. Kanto finding the angle onto Penguin. That roam clear hasn't been done sufficiently. We do actually see Sono going upstairs and maybe trying to challenge there onto Kanto. He's just going to be stood outside of Aviator at the moment. Got the chance at some pot shots, but nothing really too significant. Parabellum have looked quite slow in this round, and I think it's maybe surprised them a little bit that they've had to deal with this site. It really has gotten them caught in the weeds. Esker going to cook a nade, maybe going to go for some nice timing here. Spirits will take down Uno. With it, a lot of information on the pulse.
Yeah, Parabellum just struggling, and one addition as well is going to be the mirror window above that Virtue has. Extremely strong. It covers off the maps area entirely. Nobody can push in towards Kanto. The only way that they can actually push him is if they open up the vault wall, but they don't have enough time to do so. A plant is now currently being planted by Parabellum, and G2 have let this slip. Eske has also found Citizen, and a quick rotate from two Parabellum players have got them out off the bomb site. Now it's going to be a retake for G2, but it's not working for them. Eske working that window to its full potential, and now G2 on the back foot. They were not ready for this quick plant. They let them slip through their fingers, and now G2 on dire straits.
It is one of the hard things about this site is that there's so many angles that you can get a sneaky little plant down onto. Esker going to pick himself up a triple. Spirits finds the final kill onto Kanto. There might have been fantastic vertical hold there from G2, but ultimately it was not enough. Parabellum saw an opportunity and they took it.
They did. They eliminated the Pulse, the information operator on G2 off the board. You know, like the kind of analyst desk highlighted was Echo. We're not seeing Echo be played. Valkyrie obviously being banned as well. There isn't too many information operators that we would expect to see from G2 at the moment. I think that comes down to just one simple slip, yeah? They miss out on somebody running past the vertical hole. Counter's probably thinking, oh, nobody got past me, but you look away for a second and they're in. It's one of those, it's the timing. It is what it is, but fair play to Parabellum being able to punish G2 for a little bit sloppy with some of their sightlines.
It's just narrow angles that Kanto's dealing with. At any time that you're prone and then trying to make use of a vertical, you've got such a slim margin there of vision. It's always going to be very difficult indeed. G2 not going to give us another go downstairs inside of that living room and library. Instead, they're going to take us to kitchen. They're going to try and repeat their success of round number 1. This time, Kayak hasn't six-picked off onto the Clash. We saw him, he initially hovered the mirror in round number 1 and then six-picked away. This time he's going to lock that mirror window in, so we're going to see where that gets played. I wouldn't be surprised to see it off-site and maybe, you know, deploying one upstairs so that his team can, you know, make use of that and then play another one down on the site. As there wasn't a significant top floor hold, really, last time from G2. I don't think they'd invested in it all too heavily. There was a pulse from Uno that was trying to gather a lot of information.
Library.
He ended up being first blood because he got droned out by Parabellum, and there was a bit of an aggressive hop over the balcony that resulted in, you know, a bit of a messy gunfight. It was almost a bit of a barrel stuff, really, but it got the job done. G2 was still able to come away with the round, but this time it looks as though they're going to invest a little bit more heavily into this top floor hold.
Bit of a questionable mirror window from Kayak looking in towards Trophy, because if you go on the Astro window, then that mirror window is useless. So yeah, I think they're really banking on Parabellum not trying to pressure that window. So I mean, if they are and they've done the research and know that Parabellum, for this certain take, they do not pressure the Astro window at all, then yeah, it's going to help them quite a bit. Parabellum, how are they going to deal with this one? We're seeing a split push from them. We've got 2 guys outside bedroom, the rest of them pushing in from study. Again, Uno on the pulse, trying to find that early information. He has taken a bit of damage, but he's still alive, and as long as he's alive, Ollie, he can still feed that information throughout the entire round back to his team.
Uno's job is literally intel. That's all G2 are concerned with, is stay alive and gain the information. Virtue going to get taken out there, kind of baited by the drone. Zeska would have had a good read on that. Kayak going to win the engage, though, does grab the kill back as a trade, but we're already seeing just how exposed this mirror window is. Kayak's worrying about 2 angles here, almost on the direct opposites of each other. It's not even going to matter. He takes down Spirits, drops the hatch, gets himself back to side. That is job done there for Kayak.
Wow, he's done excellent. I thought, yes, you get 1 kill, but there were so many people from Parabellum pushing him, but he still manages to get the kill and also get out alive. Massive stuff from Kayak. That's an extra man that they need. Uno still with that information, gaining as much as he can. Penguin has moved in towards Laundry. He's actually going to try and challenge. That's the hard breacher as well. You cannot be giving yourself up like this. And Citizen
look
with
at the
pistol.
confidence.
Oh, G2, they do not care. They do not care today, Ollie.
Citizen taking the gunfight with the pistol in hand. Still 2 C4s in hand for the players of G2. Uno going to be able to gather as much information as he likes, as the pulse is still going to be up. There's arguably not sufficient soft destruction now to make any significant holes. Sure, we've got the ITA, but time isn't really going to allow for that. Sona's going to have to push his way on through. He's likely going to be spotted on a heartbeat scanner, as these are quite short distances that we are dealing with. Kanto, he knows that there's somebody that's going to be pushing him from that doorway very shortly, as Sona is just pre-firing desperately to see if there's anything that he can find. But the discipline on G2 that's being displayed here is commendable. They're not peeking, they're not giving away these careless 1v1s. I say that, Kanto's just going to walk out bold as brass and take down Sona with the SMG-11. Euphoria now left in an impossible spot. 1 versus 4, 17 seconds. Kanto picks the final kill up, grabbing himself a double on the round. That's G2. Another good defense downstairs.
G2. Wow. This is the G2 that we all expected. Not the G2 that was in group stages. This is the one. Every single player has came today and they're ready to kill. All of them. We looked at group stages. Citizen always had his moments. Everyone else was kind of lagging behind. Now we're seeing everyone turn up, which I think is the big difference today for G2.
I mean, the Yak playing upstairs. Beautiful. So we questioned the mirror window.
He did extremely well.
And the mirror window was confirmed to be questionable because we could see as he was getting pushed, he didn't really know which way to look. There was almost 3 or 4 angles he's trying to check. He still manages to get away with 2 kills and his life and his C4. Incredible stuff there from G2. Their information game here is really what is doing them proud. This time, they're not going to go for the pulse. Maybe feeling like it's a little bit too predictable, maybe feeling that they've got other ideas. I'm also kind of surprised, Demo, that we're now into round number 5. Parabellum's still yet to pick an IQ. Now, I know that we talk about IQ and having value and, you know, wanting to try and play other operators that bring maybe a little bit more, but if someone is consistently bringing a pulse, surely it's worth to bring the IQ.
There is definitely a debate there. Is an IQ going to really find out information from the pulse early on? I mean, there is a set distance, of course, on the scanner that you can see from IQ. How often do we see an IQ kill a pulse through the floor? Maybe once in a blue moon. We don't really see IQ get value against a pulse very early on. You know, what you can find with an IQ scanner, you can easily do just by droning the map. Not as if it's a Valk cam, where obviously they are much smaller, they're not a person, can be tucked away in numerous locations, whereas a pulse, I think it's much more easier to find out that information.
I think it just seems like Parabellum haven't really got a focus inside of these rounds. Like, they're not going for a top floor clear and then looking to try and execute. Like, we saw a little bit of that in that previous round, but even then the pushes weren't coming in conjunction with one another. It was single challenges, and all the while, G2 are that little one step ahead because they know what's coming.
One thing as well to keep in mind is for Parabellum, this isn't going to be the map that we expect them to do well on. At the end of the day, this is G2's map. Is it the biggest thing if they lose this? And oh my word, Citizen went for the zombie window jump out, eliminated the Nomad in Euphoria, and then eventually got traded out because Sorna was just in the right place at the right time. But is there pressure for Parabellum this map? I would say no. I think if we look at G2 and Villa, it always gets banned away from them, and that's for a reason. Teams know how good G2 are on Villa.
Spirit's going to try and clear some of that utility at the bottom of the main stairs now. Penguin maybe looking to gather some intel on the drone. It's going to be Virtue playing at the top of those main stairs on the smoke. Ooh, gets his chance there. Does manage to dish a few shots in. Going to waste a Toxic Babe canister there as the push floods on in. But Spirits, he wasn't waiting around. He wasn't going to get caught in the gas. He was straight through it before it was even detonated. And he's now got control of main stairs, but not for long as Uno comes in like a madman inside of Study. Manages to get one back before being traded himself. A 2 versus 2 now. A lot for Kayak and Kanto to do here. There's a great deal of time on the side of Parabellum, and they have quite a few sightlines to work with. There is going to be a mirror window, but we can see there's no one playing behind that window. Penguin going to try and give himself a little bit more to go on here as Kayak's getting himself into an engagement. Esker, he takes down Kanto. Kayak isn't on the greatest of health, manages to find the down onto Esker, doesn't look for the confirm. Very important stuff. He's got the SMG-11, he hasn't got a load of shots. We are going to see Esker just try and gather a little bit more information before Penguin looks to try and confirm that diffuser. Kayak's heard this and he's going to go for the C4 toss. Surely it's going to hit. No, it goes too long. It deals half damage, but that is not going to be enough. Here's the shots with the SMG-11. Kayak, a triple kill. He's got plenty of time to disable that diffuser. G2, they go 4-1 here on Villa.
The Yak attack, there he is. Wow, what a great clutch from Kayak. Using that mirror window to his advantage, having the information. Wow, what a round. Parabellum looked pretty good for a moment there as well. I love the confidence that Spirits was having, being able to push up those staircases, have those engagements. But G2, some of the positioning that they had really caught Parabellum by surprise. That was the first kill, of course, where that was the zombie window jump out. Citizen immediately gets traded. I love this. This is the thing I'm talking about from Spirits. Straight away, has to make the play, goes in, makes that happen. Uno, who's expecting a mirror just to take a waltz in the study? But I have to question, why is he allowed to do that?
Penguin was obviously caught short there. I don't know if he was on a drone, if he was checking another angle. It was good at least that Penguin was able to get the refrag. You know, that coming down to a 1 versus 1, I think the peace of mind to get the diffuser down in that moment in the spot that Penguin did was really good. It gave him a good chance there, but when you come off that diffuser, you've got so many angles that you have got to check. Penguin was the one that opened up a lot of those angles. Yep. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way that Siege works. When you've got so many angles to check, it's always going to be difficult to try and come away with the kill.
Been a tough tournament for G2, but you're here now. It's time to show everyone what you're made of in this best of 3, and I think that's the big point, best of 3 Ollie. G2, all we've really seen them play is best of 1s, whereas I think for a team like G2, they thrive in the best of 3 conditions. With the system where it's ban, pick, if they get a map that they like, such as Villa, they will always have a good start.
5 seconds to insertion.
It's going to be the last round here for G2 on the defense. Last round for Parabellum to attack. Going to take us back upstairs into Trophy and Statuary. We've seen some small adjustments come out as well. Kayak this time going to be playing the Frost. Seeing if over the past 5 rounds they've been able to gather any sort of player habits from these guys on Parabellum, anything that they do every single round, and just try and catch them out, place a couple of Frost mats. This is the time, in my opinion.
What mats?
It's specifically bear traps, I think.
No, what's the name for the mats? Come on.
The Frost
Starts
mat.
with P. Come on. Say it.
Nope.
Say it with me. 3 letters.
I don't like the word.
P.
I don't stand with the pog mats.
Ah, you said it. You said it. The pog mats are in. G2 actually famed for starting the trend of the pog mat citizen, most notably as well. And we'll see if they can find any of them in this round. Straight off the rip, Parabellum taking that early control downstairs, perhaps fearing in case there is, again, that potential pulse, which has not been brought, again, for G2, but because they had it so much, it's kind of struck fear, and now Parabellum have to always second-guess themselves just in case there is a pulse.
You get the feeling that everything that G2 are doing in this game is measured and very carefully accounted for. You know, they play the pulse for a couple of rounds, strike the fear into Parabellum, that then works. You bring the Frost in the last round of your defense, that then's got the chance of catching somebody out. All of it is adding into that sort of beautiful mind game that they're trying to play here. There are angles being challenged on the vertical, but Virtue is on East Stairs with Kanto just at the bottom inside of 90, ready to try and challenge on if required. Kai going to be playing inside of Astro. This time we do have a Jaeger, so that is a more viable location. Kanto looking to make his rotation now up those East Stairs as more shots are exchanged vertically. Penguin going to find the opener this time over onto Kayak inside of Astro.
Parabellum utilizing the verticality that you can have from below. A little bit tricky though, you have a lot of those big solid wooden beams, so it can be difficult to land your shots, which I think we saw from Spirits going up against Uno on the mirror. Little bit of issue with that, but still Parabellum have got that opening pick, and they're still pressuring from below. As you can see, 2 players in G2 now trapped inside a Trophy, and trapped they will now become dead as those long angles are being engaged. Virtue, a great swing with the SMG, and Uno as well, but it's still down to Virtue, 1 versus 3 for the Aussie. Can he make it happen for himself? He has had one of these moments already inside of this tournament, rotating below, perhaps trying to utilize the C4. That hole's going to be open. Oh, a great shot again for Virtue. 2 more to find though, still going to try and go below, make himself a quick rotate in through Library, but now just backs away, moves above, in towards the statue now. 2 players from Parabellum still alive. That mirror window, oh, Virtue! What a shot, and now this is doable. This is definitely doable from the Aussie. Can he move in and find this defuse? Doesn't know who the last one is, though, Ollie. That's the biggest thing. Sonar has still rotated over, has that long angle, and Virtue in a very tricky position. The diffuser in a prime position for Parabellum just to hold down. Sonar, how good is your nerve? Virtue going to try and stick it. Oh, that's going to be a stun. Does he know he's diffusing? He's going to pitch in the Banshee's going to stop it.
No.
Virtue's going to get it. Is he going to have it? No, Sonar! Oh my word, Virtue almost had the clutch of his career, but Sonar just in the nick of time. Wow, 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 wow.
Plant position. It all comes down to plant position from Parabellum. In the heat of the moment, you've got to make sure that diffuser's going down in a position that you can retake from successfully and have good lines of sight. That is what we saw there inside of that round. The Banshee, believe it or not, nearly the difference maker. How many attackers have walked past that Banshee?
What the thing is as well is, whenever he was inside, he starts looking around trying to find him. Like, what are you doing? He's defusing the bomb. Just wow. Wow, wow, wow.
What a display from Virtue, though. You know, the SMG-11 famed for being a difficult gun to control. You've not got a lot of bullets in the magazine. You've got to be accurate. You've got to hit your shots. And he was able to take that 3 versus 1 into a 1 versus 1.
The thing which I think was the game changer for Parabellum was the fact that they had the double rotate into bedroom, which Virtue was not expecting. You get 1 kill, but as we've seen, as he was able to move in towards Trophy, he was expecting the guy to be inside of Astro and maybe in towards bathroom. That was a position that he was not ready for.
Such a tight round. You saw on the replay there with just how little was left on that disable bar. It was right down to the wire. You know, I wouldn't like to put a number on it, but it can't be more than a second that would have been required there for Virtue to be able to get that defuse off. As it stands, it still puts G2 at a 4-2 split here on Villa. So we now change sides. I don't think they're going to be disheartened by that. You know, a big clutch attempt, it is just one of those things. You ideally shouldn't have been left in the 1 versus 3 situation. Now it's time for G2 to see and show us what they have got. They're not going for a very heavy nade lineup either. Instead, just choosing to take the Iana for the time being. No sledge. Instead, Virtue's going to be playing the book.
Oh, Kanto almost being taken out. Quick aggressive standpoint from Esker right off the rip, who has been doing pretty well so far inside of this game. 6 kills, and nobody actually from both teams have got above 6 kills right now. Kills being distributed very evenly across everyone. No real front runner has kind of started off yet. Still seeing who's going to step up and be that MVP for this game, which is definitely there for both teams. Who knows? Now we have that side switch all in. How many times have we seen a team lose the first half but win it in the second?
Especially on a map like Villa, you know, there are opportunities here. It's debatable as to which side Villa, you know, falls on in terms of attacker or defender split. It comes down to the matchup on the day, the operator bans. There's a lot more that goes into it than just saying flat out, this is a defender-sided map or this is an attacker-sided map. But there are possibilities for rounds to be gained here. Now, we can attest a lot of the rounds that G2 gained down to good information when they were on the defense. That was really something that paid dividends for them. Now we're seeing a nice slow and steady approach here from Virtue as he's got himself underneath with the skeleton key. Book's such a great operator here on Villa. It isn't going to do anything in terms of the opening engagement though, because Citizen will fall to Spirits as he gets taken out there. Virtue has managed now to destroy both of those mirrors though. He's removed both of the canisters, and that's going to make the job a little bit easier when it comes to pushing on through. Uno with the aggression here, can't find the angle. Penguin with the double swing does manage to take him down. That's 2 kills there that have gone unresponded. Spirits has found himself down, but this is going bad for G2. Currently a 5 versus 2, effective 4 versus 2, as there's a lot here for Kayak to do. He's going to be able to pick up Spirits and finish off the down player in Penguin. So he does something to try and level things back up here, but there isn't a great deal of time to be working with him. With a C4 coming in from below, it puts Virtue in a clutch once again. Sono with the last 2.
Wow, G2. Everyone dying on that staircase. Trying to pressure from below, but the pressure was not being applied to the correct position. They needed to try and target the 2 guys on the staircase. I think maybe G2 kind of getting in that tunnel vision mode where it's all about destructibility from below. One person misses their shots and then everything kind of crumbles. I think if Uno had got that first kill as he was moving up the staircase, that would have been much more different. But because it's a very different, it's a different
Look at the angle,
as we know.
Look at the angle.
It's so tough. We'll probably see it here. That, you know, look where Spirits is prone. Fire so many shots, just cannot hit it. And I mean, fair play, Penguin had excellent cover, the positioning, and I think the game awareness that he had really won over Parabellum in that round.
And that's how you've got to play that when Wamai's banned. You know, don't forget, if Wamai was available here, we'd be seeing Wamai magnets placed on that main stairs, and it would just become a utility dump for the attackers. They would have to throw, you know, 6 stun grenades at it, a couple of grenades, maybe as a field lifeline, whatever it was to get the job done, remove that shield and remove the player. But now with Wamai being banned, you've got to play it as a buddy system. You have to have somebody there that's willing to swing and peek around that corner.
Interesting. Tactical timeout from G2, only 1 round into their attacks. What are you thinking about this one? Can you look at Shas and read his mind?
I mean, Shas is the expert in this field, isn't he? You know, tactical timeout isn't going to be used here unless it is deemed necessary.
Yep.
I think
there he is. If people don't know Shas, that's him. There he is.
There's obviously something that went wrong there in that round fundamentally, maybe just sort of dragging people back a little bit of over-aggression, not really committing to the plan, whatever it might be. Maybe they had a really specific plan for the take for that Aviator Games room, and it just didn't come out when they got themselves into the server. So things are going to continue as the tactical timeout does only last for 45 seconds. So it does go by quite quickly. But they've obviously been able to discuss and chat something. Obviously, I guess the reason why you bring it up, you know, what do you think about it at this sort of early stage is we've only seen one of Parabellum's defenses here.
That's the strange bit.
Usually you would at least wait to see 2 or 3 sites, but by that point, if you leave it in this circumstance, that would put Parabellum actually on 5 rounds. 5-4. So you kind of want to try and get ahead of that a little bit.
Let's not question Chas, you know?
I'm not.
There's a reason why he's the most decorated coach. There's a reason, there's a method to the madness. He's a bit of a Mad Hatter, I would say. If you know the character of him, but I'm sure he knows how to get his boys well drilled into the game, and they're going to have to pull it out now as they have another round to go through on their attack. Parabellum with a statue and trophy hold, and they're actually going to extend all the way over to Aviator in games as well. We would see this quite often, I think, from a lot of teams, being able to try and defend the entirety of the top floor. A bit risky, spread yourself pretty thin, but it's still another challenge that G2 have to go up against now.
Virtue going to be playing the IQ here. It was something that we discussed and spoke about whenever Parabellum were on the attack. Sona going to be playing the Echo, so there's value. You know, Echo's changes obviously don't make IQ essential here, but ooh, that is not going to help things at all. That's the second round in a row, both attacking rounds so far. G2 have actually lost that opening engagement, and it's been Spirits, the player on the side of Parabellum, that has been getting himself out there as that Jaeger, as that quintessential roamer, and finding that opening pick. Unresponded. I'm not sure where Kanto actually got taken out from there, but you can probably bet that a lot of his air jabs went down. You can see him there just at the top of the main stairs. Unfortunate stuff there for G2. It's going to give a little bit more freedom now to Parabellum, especially if they do want to play any rotates. But Virtue!
Disgusting. Virtue, waking up big time. Of course, almost had that clutching. See if he can maybe find some more kills on the attack on that IQ as well. An operator that you kind of alluded to and thought, hey, why aren't we seeing any IQ play from Parabellum? But one thing from Parabellum is the Echo. They're a big fan of that operator, and on a very heavy roam map such as Villa, and especially with the changes to Echo, we now kind of see it be transitioned towards more of an addition to help the roamers. You have the Echo drones kind of follow through, scan out the information for the roamers, and it gives you those kills. So I think the IQ pick, it's the correct one from G2, and they should be able to find the Echo drones. And I say that, there it is. Virtue finds the first one.
Well, you don't really need the scanner for that one, do you, when it's Baldur's Brass on the ceiling, but it'll get the job done nonetheless. The push now coming in from the top of those east stairs. Esker going to find a frag over onto Kayak. Kayak really struggling to get actually anywhere close there. You saw him get a bit of unfortunate timing with his drone, tossing it over out onto the balcony and then getting immediately caught inside of a jammer. I don't believe the wall has been opened. Nope. So it's going to be very difficult now for G2 to make this approach. It's going to be a good old single doorway, single window approach. Citizen is maybe shaping up to hop his way on through, but there is going to be a laser gate in his way, a castle barricade as well. There's just so much to wade through here. And that shield on top of the bed, it just gives everything to Penguin. He can basically play there for as long as he likes. The utility is dwindling on the side of G2, as is the clock.
Here we go, the jump in. Uno is going to have to try and take up the mantle as that player gets down, but no, Parabellum locked them all out. Penguin with the final kill, and now we have evened up the scores. 4 rounds apiece. Penguin, I'm surprised that he was allowed to sit in that position, only because that has been shown in their match against Makers. That was a highlight with the deployable shield in the bed, in the corner, and he picks up so many kills. G2, I don't know, maybe missed that round, I don't know, but that should have been something I thought they would be ready for.
We've seen Penguin do that before, haven't we? With the laser gate, the Surrey gate, the castle barricade,
shield, yep, everything.
3 ADSs, mute jammers, and a deployable shield. The kitchen sink inside of master bedroom, which is kind of an unusual place to put a kitchen sink, I'll be honest with you. But that is what Parabellum like to do here. Now, G2, they knew that. They knew that going into that round, and that's why we saw such a heavy push coming from the Aviator Games Room side. However, they lost first blood.
Yeah.
Never ideal, let's be honest. They lose Kanto early, and all of a sudden that just gives a bit of a lack into the push that's coming in from that side. You're then not able to aggressively challenge on and look to try and root out the player that's going to be playing inside a master bedroom. You never know what the plan was for those air jabs. Maybe they were looking to burn all the ADSs, throw the air jab in there, and then yoink him to the other side of the room. Yep. It could have been something as crazy as that. That wasn't, whatever the plan was, it wasn't able to be brought on through, and we just saw it be such a powerful position that G2, I think, initially maybe tried to avoid, and then got into a position where they couldn't avoid it for much longer because their original plan hadn't really worked.
5 seconds to go.
So Kitchen hold next for Parabellum, and they're set up. Oh, the same mirror window again that I'm not the biggest fan of, simply because it's a clear sightline onto, if you're on Ash Repel, very easy to get rid of. And even in towards China as well, that's also a risky one. You could get shot from behind if a player from G2 takes a little trip downstairs in for the basement and up the staircase. So Parabellum, very risky with some of their placements. We'll see if it works for them, though. And again, this Pulse, said, this operator is great for Villa.
It's almost carbon copies of the lineups, really, that we saw from either team here. Now, the trick about having a good defense is you need to know what the weaknesses are into that said defense. So
pantry take, perhaps?
G2 may be coming up with, like you say, Demo, a pantry take here, as Kayak's just going to get himself and drone on in. I think Virtue was maybe just destroying one of the mute jammers there with the nade that he tossed on through a little bit earlier from the book. Still only 2 nades being brought here on the side of G2, as we're not seeing Iana in this round. Opening kill this time for Kanto.
Massive.
That is what we needed to see from G2. Manages to take down Penguin.
And that's an important kill, because Castle was making sightlines onto the pantry. And now with him being eliminated, that frees up G2 a little bit more to be able to push in towards Kitchen. Euphoria, though, has the trade-off, and still a 4 versus 4. Uno, I think, was by himself towards Library, so nobody there for the refrag. But Kayak gets a trade nonetheless. And oh, perhaps another for Kayak. Peeks up. Oh, and G2, they're just going to try and walk into the bomb site. Eska is ready for Citizen. And Kayak perhaps ready to go for the mantle.
Kayak's tossed out some stun grenades there. He's going to go for a push on through, but Eska is ready. Those flashes not affecting him at all. Virtue now left to try and wiggle peek his way on through. He's got multiple angles to work with, but that mirror window is just going to be so powerful in this instance. He inevitably gets swung by Spirits, and it leaves everything to do for Kanto. He's going to try and use his utility now to get a little bit of stuns out. Finds it down, finds a wallbang headshot. This is doable. This is a 1 versus 1. The C4 from Euphoria. It keeps Parabellum in it, and they take a lead.
Wow, Parabellum very close from choking that round. Just a few bullets through the wall was enough to pick up a double kill. But still, Parabellum once again not giving G2 these clutches, being able to shut it down. They make it tough for themselves, Ollie. They really do. But still, a round is a round, no matter how you want it.
Not easy at all. I'm wondering where that C4 was. Was it pre-placed at the top of the door?
I think he just threw it, just in the heat of the moment. Well, obviously you're seeing the replay, but I'm pretty sure
there was a lot going on in the heat of the moment there. And I think Kanto has he's done exceptionally well there to get the wall bang. You know, wall bang, downs a player, hits the wall bang headshot. His teammates will have been able to call out that he got the down as well, because of obviously the point system. One of them will be holding tab. Let's see where the C4 actually comes from here, if we can.
He just tosses it, does he? Should do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the good. Great stuff there from Euphoria. Full white flash at the end, but another second.
Again, that was lucky, because if that C4 did not connect, he's full blind. Kanto wins that all day of the week. You have to give credit to Eska. Massive, massive performance from him so far. In that round specifically, he won that one against Citizen, which is not an easy thing to do, as we know. If he had not secured that kill, that would have gave full side control over to G2. Eska then would not have been able to kill Kak as he runs in for the diffuser, and then Jaeger is going to be left inside of, you know, pretty much a 1 versus 3, having so many different angles he needs to watch out for. So Eska, all credit to him, playing a blinder.
Currently +6 KD, so contributing heavily in terms of kills. There's no one really on the side of G2 that's standing out that much in the kill department in terms of a positive KD. Kayak's up there with +3, but
he's a support.
That's what we mean, you know, as a supporting player. I think Kayak had a good couple of rounds there on the defense, but as the hard breach, you're not looking for him to make any real entry kills, or, you know, you win your ones and all that sort of stuff, but you're not looking to him for a large portion of the frags, and that's something that needs to be picked up elsewhere. Speaking of elsewhere, Citizen going to find a kill over onto Sona. Opening blood going in favour of G2 this time. Something that we have seen them struggle with a little bit previously, but over the past couple of rounds, it has started to swing back in their favour.
So now Citizen has transferred into his scary state, where it's just him. He goes in by himself, and he just makes things happen. He is like a silent assassin. You have no idea where he's going to come from, and he hits you like a truck. Basically, for Parabellum, now they always have to watch out, because you have no idea where he is, and G2 are still going to carry on. The other 4 players are going to stick to the plan, but Citizen is just going to lurk, do his own thing, and he will reward G2 with kills. We've seen him do it throughout this competition. This is whenever he's in his element. He just wants to go for the kills, and you'll see him ramp up in towards those double digits easily.
Kanto going to be able to place an air jab out onto the doorway. It's going to give G2 some time to drone out and figure out what they're going to do with this take. They've not gone for as much vertical control. Virtue hasn't been underneath making a mess with the skeleton key. That's something that could come a little bit later on, though. We do still have a good deal of time left, over a minute, in fact. Citizen just holding on to the bottom of main stairs. Uno, in fact, is going to be the one to play underneath, trying to destroy some of the shields. Oh, unfortunately for him, he isn't actually going to get the shield. He's just going to open up the floor.
Still has another concussion, though. Can still utilize it, and there we go. There goes the impact, and unless the shield gone, so Parabellum have to fall back and kind of stay in towards their bomb site. G2 don't really know what they're going for. A little bit of main stairs, a little bit of the vault as well being opened up, so bit of a mix for G2.
Time running short. Kayak going to try and open up that vault wall, but he's coming up against some mute jammers that are just going to slow him down. Not sure if that is in fact going to be resolved. Toxic Babe canisters cutting off the push in toward Maps. Virtue going to take a chunk of damage there as he hops himself outside. Maybe now going to try and go underneath, but Virtue is the diffuser carrier as well. This is going to be pretty messy here from both these sides. Citizen's going to have to get himself on in and find some frags because it's unlikely to see a plank go down at this point. Spirits finds one. Uno comes in with a bit of a trade, and Penguin eventually will fall. All now lands in the hands of Kayak. The time is going to hit 0 before anything can be done about it. Parabellum, they slowed G2 down. They take another round and they put themselves onto a match point.
That single mute jammer on the wall of the vault was enough to delay the round for G2, and from that you're running into a bottleneck, into a choke point, and they quite literally just got choked out. Smoke going in, shotguns fire out. G2, lost words right now. Don't know where they're going.
They lacked direction there inside of that round. There was key things that we would expect to be dealt with just not happening. Virtue, very little impact with the skeleton key. Considering the difference that we saw previously when they attacked that site, he got himself underneath, and sure, it didn't all go G2's way, but he was still able to get a couple of the shots off and move the players around inside of the site. That didn't happen. We also didn't see the mute jammer removed from the vault wall. That then essentially renders Kayak useless in his utility because he can't do anything. His entire round was on that 90 repel, on that 90 window. And if the mute jammer is still there, what are you able to do about it? The big difference, there wasn't a single frag grenade brought by the side of G2. One single frag grenade. One single frag would have been all it took to get rid of that mute jammer. Yeah, you're going to have to put something else in there. You're going to have to put a lifeline or some stun grenades, but that is just what it is. You would seriously be able to get that vault wall open, and they didn't have that.
Yep, one nade for the drone hole, and that's it. Problem solved. No issues at all. And I think even more so as well is that for G2, they usually don't miss out things like that. Like if they know, okay, we need to get this open, they will throw everything that they have to get rid of that, but they just could not do it.
They could have done it with what they had. All the vertical control.
Could have fired it.
Skeleton key. There's a number of things that could have happened. You know, all you've got to do is drive a drone past that reinforced wall on vault. The drone gets stopped and you're like, huh, probably a mute jammer behind that. Let's go and deal with it. They had all the control they needed. Citizen got the opening pick, and I don't think anybody roamed on the ground floor from the side of Parabellum.
Parabellum and their defense, very, very strong. Big performances from them as well. This is not their map pick. This is not the map that we expect them to win. But they are giving it to G2. Is that a case of G2 on their attacks pretty sloppy? I would say yes. I think there is a deal to kind of look at and think, yeah, I think G2 have not played the greatest of their attacks. But you have to give credit to Parabellum. Players have stepped up where they were needed, whereas G2 struggling to find one man who can do it all.
Yet to find success here on the attack. Oh, it's going to be a freebie for Sona. An absolute freebie.
Ironic.
As he's able to take down the painting, toss the C4 all the way on through. The pulse gets pulsed there, Demo. Uno playing pulse pretty much every single round for the side of G2 when they're on the defense. And now he's going to be feeling the sharp end of that on the attack.
He held all the power of information, but not even that could save him. G2, a player down. Uno gone. Sophia, big utility operator. And Parabellum in the driver's seat to send this one home. Take a one-map advantage against G2 as we head into our second map later on. But for now, can G2 pull it back? Oh no, it's not looking good for them. Parabellum are turning on the afterburners and they are slowly moving away from G2. They cannot catch them. G2 trying their best to catch up, and Virtue himself looking for a kill, but it's just not going to be enough right now. Parabellum have to sit back, relax, and let G2 boil in their own sweat. Parabellum, Ollie, this is their round to lose.
They've got everything going in their favor. We're into the final minute now, and they still have all 5 players alive. 5 versus 3, and with the utility that has been lost on the side of G2, you know, you think toward the Sophia Lifeline and the Ash Breaching round. That's so crucial when it comes to your attacking pushes. Spirits is just going to go for a swing, takes down Virtue. It's a dance that has been dancing for quite some time now. Sona finds another over onto Kanto, and Kayak left in the 1 versus 5. This is match point here for Parabellum. 25 seconds, Kayak has to find all 5 kills here. Picks up the first over onto Soda, can't grab the second. Eska with the shutdown. Parabellum, they take Villa.
5 rounds in a row on the defense. G2 not getting a single attack. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. A game of 2 halves. 100%, like I said, Ollie, one team can lose the first half, but they can come out swinging in the second, and Parabellum did just that. Eska, top performance from him. Can he carry on for map 2?
Map 2 is going to be Parabellum's map pick as well, so we'll have to see. We're going to throw it to our experts. They're going to break that one down for you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. As they say, se vis pacem Parabellum.
Yes.
I've been playing a lot.
They do, Milosh.
All the time, mate, every day.
It's
We regularly say that.
Who wishes for war, prepare. Who wishes for peace, prepare for war. It was the highlight of Maestro's introduction into the game, and which Villa we were just playing on. Come on, it's the name of the team, Parabellum. That's where it comes. Come on, man.
Got you, mate. Go on.
Honestly, I'm very, very impressed by what Parabellum offered today, because we're saying, you know what? Is it going to be a best of 1 team? You know, they're maybe not really warming up to it. They looked impressive in Villa.
We were sat there at 4-1 saying, really, one more round here to make this a 4-2 half would be wonderful to get things going for Parabellum. Otherwise, G2 sit in 5-1. You think a couple of rounds, they can get that on one of their main go-to maps. But honestly, in that second half, Parabellum just running disruption 24/7 that it felt like G2 simply weren't ready to deal with. The C4s being thrown out, the disruptions out on the roam. Really beautiful to see. And although there were a couple of close rounds that came down to 1v1s, it really felt for the most part like Parabellum had the run of the mill on, again, G2's map selection.
Well, the thing for me was we saw in the early couple of rounds that G2 came out with some great vertical play. You and I sat and watched Uno and Kayak underneath just absolutely decimate the Parabellum attack. They were combining the pulse and the mute. They got a nitro kill. They got a vertical gunfire kill. It was great play from them. But then it was almost like Parabellum just stepped up to that and sort of said, right, you want vertical play? You want C4s through holes in walls? Hold my drink, let me bring it. And that's exactly what Parabellum did, and they really smashed it out of the park, to be honest. And a best of 3, is it just 3 best of 1s? No fear from them.
It's what I mean.
That is a very good way to put it.
The point on the whole vertical thing, it wasn't really until round 6 that Parabellum had an answer to that they sent someone downstairs, and they didn't really ever climb the downstairs vertical anyway. And I thought, well, at least there's someone down there looking to disrupt or at least be in the way of. But again, G2 good first half, but Parabellum second half. Don't take him to Villa, boys.
So you look at Villa. Now, you can say, don't take him to Villa, but what were the strong pieces that they showed on Villa that would be helpful in future maps?
The disruption. I think time and time again, we've said all tournament long, the best way to get up in the face of Sun teams and make them sweat is just to waste their time. Even if you're getting up in their face and not necessarily burning through kills, getting rid of players, it's burning through utility, it's wasting time. So when it comes around to the final 20-30 seconds, you've got to make it all happen, do or die. It's going to bite you.
It's just, as you said, as closing teams down and just giving them one opportunity. And unfortunately, for a team like G2 at the minute, one opportunity is not enough. No. Mistakes are happening. Things aren't clicking every single time. So if you force them into one attempt at an execute, it's going to be tough for them round after round. And that's the position they find themselves in. Parabellum, as Des says, just needs to stop G2 playing their game.
Here's the map by the numbers. We'll bring up the graphic for everybody watching at home, just to see in case you missed the scoreboard in just a second here. This is all in preparation, of course, for map 2 Kafe Dostoyevsky. Possibilities of seeing a clubhouse before we dig into the stats.
I mean,
rain or shine?
I said 2-0 Parabellum. I think they can take this now, given they've just dominated G2. Well, dominated. They've done very well on G2's map, and going into Kafe, where Echo is going to shine, it has to get banned out to my mind.
I mean, Des called me Mr. Positivity yesterday, Milosh, and that's what I'm going to try and do. I cannot believe that G2 are going to go out of this tournament without even making a fight of it and getting themselves a map and taking us all the way to 3. I really do think that we see that reversal again, whereby a team takes each other's map. Des has got a grin at the minute. I'm sure he's going to weigh in, but for me, I just think there's still a big game here in G2.
Ace is like that ray of sunshine when you sat in the shade and there's just that single ray that comes through the trees and hits you in the eyes and you wish it would go away sometimes. With those kind of statements, I get where you're coming from, Ace. G2 are a team that we know can perform. We've seen them do it in the regular stage. They started at UL Stage 1. Fantastic attacking team and some questions to ask on the defense. On Villa, when we saw that defense, I thought, great, they've figured out defense. Does that mean their attacks are still going to be strong and they'll play really well here? No, apparently turned out to be the answer, but going into Kafe, I'm hoping there's a small change. It's a map that played quite a bit before. Fingers crossed here they can do something, but again, it is Parabellum's map choice.
I know that when Pengu was on G2, G2 had never lost a single game versus a North American team. He's no longer here, so I guess, carte blanche, you can do whatever you want.
One thing we didn't talk about, actually, you mentioned this at the very start, and I'll definitely credit Ace for this. The teams that G2 have beat at this tournament so far have all gone home. They haven't beat any team that's still here.
That's true.
And that's looking to continue if Kafe doesn't go the right way.
It just goes to say something about the wins that they have picked up, and it's no slight on the teams that they have beaten. They've all come through and given good performances, but 2 of those games, Des, were very, very close. Cloud9 7-5, Dark Zero went to overtime. They've not been straightforward wins for G2, and the plight just seems to continue at the minute. And I don't know, as somebody who's been watching Siege for years, I'm like, surely not. Surely this is not, there has to be more. It's G2. Of course there has to be more.
Not like this.
Not like this. But it just never seems to get delivered. And I think the problem with attacking, for me, comes into the simplest form of getting kills. You have to take the initiative as an attacker. You have to go in there and get the man count down, and you have to go in there and win rounds. And that, for me, is something that G2 are just not doing at the minute. Whereas on defense, you can play a bit more passively. If you don't go and aggressively get those kills, it doesn't matter too much. You can still win rounds.
Well, G2 starting off on defense, and Kafe Dostoyevsky, that's where we will turn our attention to here in preparation as everything's being set up for us. Kafe, defense, is this something that will benefit G2? Because we saw Parabellum so comfortable in their defense on Villa.
I think given they just defended really well on Villa, like coming into this map, you'd expect on the defensive side G2 to take some rounds. They like the Echo, as do Parabellum. Why not on the defense on the kitchen downstairs make good use of that? Why not do what we saw in the very start of Villa earlier, is get out in the map and again play disruption. That is the name of the meta at the minute, because you can't rely on things like shields in the late round. Instead, you turn to things like the Echo. So it's kind of like the same thing we're saying time and time again. Get out there, be aggressive, get in their face. Kayak has had a great game with so many kills coming through. Why not stick to what works?
Here's my question for the aggression. We keep hearing it. We've been hearing it all together in EUL for the past few months. What is it? Is it lack of information? Is it lack of confidence? Is it just by that time in the round there's not enough drones left to get the proper information? Or is it a combination? In what way? Go ahead.
Well, looking at the way G2 are playing at the minute, I have to say I think a lot of it comes down to confidence. We've said this, Citizen comes out and has those big games, gets those high fragging rounds and games, but it's just not consistent throughout the team. And I think there's just, it's more of a mental game for them now. It's almost coming in defeated, and, they look like that sometimes.
I wonder if the past year, of course, it's been difficult for everybody this past year, but I wonder if it's not had a huge mental impact on the team, something that may take this entire year to recover from. It's not an easy thing to do at all.
No, I mean, we said it in the pre-show and said that, on paper, I think you said the exact line perfectly. Like, they've got everything they need. Great support players, capable fraggers. We spoke about Virtue and Citizen during the regular season and how much work they were doing. Unbelievable how many scouts they were taking in rounds that they shouldn't have been. But Virtue has been strangely quiet so far during the tournament. Citizen, again, has had a pretty good one. Kayak stepping up, but it's almost like when you need all the pieces to fit together, one goes missing. And that's what really needs to come together for them. And right now, there's no, maybe it happens tomorrow, maybe it happens on the next day when they figure things out. It needs to happen now. This could be your last map at SI 2021.
And you will go out versus the rookies.
You'll go out versus Parabellum, a team that everyone thought were going to go home in group stage.
And here they are. I mean, this is testament to how impressive Parabellum have been in the tournament so far. To just rock up like that out of nowhere. We talked about Makers yesterday. We talked about Parabellum as well. The two teams that came out of nowhere, representing Canada and Italy for the first time ever, both of them. And here they're going up against yesterday Cloud9 versus with Makers. Today, G2 for Parabellum. Big teams, big names in their respective regions, and you're able to defeat them. Who knows what will happen come map 2? Will we see a third one if G2 are able to pick it up? That is the only way for it to happen here, or else they're out. Simple as that. Des, Ace, thank you so much. It is time for us to toss it back to our casters. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head over to snowy Moscow as Kafe Dostoyevsky, and we'll toss it to XR Troika and Demo. Enjoy, boys.
Hello, welcome back to the Caster Desk. We are here with map number 2 inside of this best of 3. Parabellum getting the better of G2 there on Villa. That was G2's map pick. And for a time, it looked like a very dominant map for G2.
It was. They led extremely well in the early stage of their opening half, but they could not attack. That was the biggest issue for them. But now we get to see Kafe, and still, this is not a bad map for G2 either. This is definitely one of their better maps also, but because it is Parabellum's pick, you would expect them to lose it if we're going off the trend of this competition. Whatever team picks a map, you lose that.
That has been the trend. It kind of rang through yesterday in the games that we saw, and so far today it is it's coming true as well. So we'll have to see which way Kafe goes. We're only a couple of moments from getting on into this one. I'm sure that Parabellum are itching to get started here as they managed to pick up 5 rounds in a row over on Villa. They want to try and continue some of that momentum. G2 just looking a little bit unsure of themselves at the moment. Despite a good opening phase on Villa, that was really all they had to show us. Their attacks lacked that aggression. It lacked that sort of conviction that you really want to see in a good attacking round of Siege. We're going to be throwing into the game now. Kafe for our viewing pleasure. G2 versus Parabellum. G2 starting off on the defense again here.
Another defensive start for G2. Parabellum, I think, happy enough to go on the attack as well, but I don't think Kafe is going to be as defender-sided as what we've seen from Villa. Kafe, much more of an open map. I can't really pick who it favors. It's a very difficult map to judge.
It is. There is opportunity for aggression. There is opportunity for runouts and, you know, players that can really stand out. We talked about how destructible Villa is. Kafe shares some of that quality. There's a lot of that top floor that you can destroy. So I expect to see plenty of C4 usage again. Maybe, just maybe, are we going to see anything targeted here on the defender side? The attacker bans have come through very standard there. A Thatcher and a Maverick. That's par for the course. We see the Wamai there coming out from Parabellum. That's a consistent ban from those guys. Now the big question here is, what do G2 remove? Do they remove the Cade? Or do they look to try and remove some of that information? Do they look to remove the Valkyrie? There poor old Valkyrie goes.
All right, so the bans, same kind of defender bans as well that we're dealing with, which has been quite frequent. So a lot of Wamai, a lot of Valkyrie as well. In terms of the attacking bans, this makes the kitchen site specifically a bit of an issue. That is a very tough bomb site now to attack without any operators to deal with the denial that you can bring along with a bandit, Kite, or can you remain free you're looking at. So that's going to make the kitchen much more defender-sided. But then again, Ollie, I think one thing that I've kind of picked up on over the course of this tournament is Bakery always used to be the take you'd go for. I think Bakery is out of favor now. A lot of teams just taking in towards the top floor, in towards the mid floor, utilize the destructibility that you can bring with either a sledge or a buck, and then really targeting that freezer. That is where I say 9 out of 10 teams like to attack, is that freezer. So is the Thatcher and Maverick ban going to come into play? Maybe not.
I mean, Paris is one of the fashion capitals of the world, Demo, and, you know, a Bakery take, it's just so last year, it's so last season. It's all about these newfangled takes. But we're not going to worry about that inside of this round. We're going to be going up to the top floor. G2 have, they've got some interesting operators selected here. We're going to run through them now. We've got the castle that Kanto is bringing. We also have the Goyo on Citizen. Some hefty utility there. That's really sort of, we are committing to holding this zone. as we see with Kafe, kind of famed. I think if anyone, you know, thinks about sort of utility dump and attacker utility sink, you know, name a more iconic duo than Pixel Spot on Kafe. That's really the spot that comes to my mind, at least, and I think a lot of people's mind, Demo, when you think about, you know, clearing out a lot of heavy utility. Now, Wamai isn't available, so that hold has to extend somewhat. You have to play with the castle barricades, and you can bring, obviously, other tools for that sort of endeavor. Aruni, with the laser gates, they're going to be employed as well.
Yeah, looking at this setup from G2, a bit surprising. There's two operators that I thought they would have brung because it's kind of like, you know, their go-to, and that would be the Melusi and also the Smoke. We're missing both of them because in favor, they're bringing, like I said, a hefty amount of utility. So the idea that they've went for is keep them out of Piano, keep them out of there. We're seeing the castle barricades be set up inside of Bathroom as well, which became quite a common position. You put a shield inside of Bathroom and a guy can just hold the long angles. Kanto's going to open up with the first pick. And one other thing as well that we've seen, Citizen go below. They're also going to try and hold inside a train because you can have those sight lines. Like we talked about that a lot on Villa. G2 being able to make these vertical holes, and there's one of them right onto the breach, another one on towards the double door. That's going to assist them with their C4s as well. So overall, G2 really playing to kill them all in Piano. Don't let them anywhere near the bomb site.
We can see just the value of this utility dump as well as we just hear that ADS come back online. Now, the laser gate has been disabled for the time being, but there's still a castle barricade remains. Penguin's going to be at the top of red stairs, and he seems to be getting pressured from multiple angles now, but is conscious of downstairs. He's really focused toward that wheel room. A frag will come back in response, though, as Uno does fall. Penguin locked off. You can't really choose to aggress onto here. He's going to get a peek onto Virtue, trade shots, both players there with their sidearm secondaries. Euphoria looks to try and join along with Esker. Virtue has been downed and will be taken out there, but Kanto comes in with an all-important refrag yet again. Hits himself, the triple kill. Penguin's down as well at the top of these red stairs. We can see Spirits getting chunked as he's going to be playing on stage. His location known. This is not a great round for Parabellum as they get shut down inside of round number 1.
Strategy working for G2. The idea was keep them at the bomb site. They did just that. So many kills happening towards red stairs. Of course, the poor Ash inside of Piano, and you're not getting away. The sight line's being established. You're trapped in that box, and yeah, just G2 playing the strategy that was expected of them.
It's very difficult to deal with all of that utility before getting yourself into Piano. That's one of the good things about that hold from G2 is that you've got the laser gates, you've got a lot of open lines of sight, you've got a Goyo shield to play with as well. All of that you've got to deal with before getting in, ideally.
It's the way that Virtue played that round. Typically, every single round on this bomb site for attackers plays out the same way. Open up the hatches, open in towards Piano, take control of red, and then move your way through the bomb sites. With the setup that G2 have went, they are not allowing them to have that setup in red stairs, which I think is the key that Virtue is holding. He was able to swing, put pressure on them. As we've seen, no Habana pellets, could not open up the wall. Just constantly putting Parabellum under pressure, and eventually they cracked.
Kanto with a big quad kill as well. It's a massive start from him considering the sort of game that he had over on Villa where it wasn't bad, but it wasn't stand out by any stretch of the imagination. Kanto, a player that, you know, we think back in the history of Siege, and he's known for fragging out, Demo.
He is. Kanto, I think this competition, I wanted to see him play with more fire. I don't think he was aggressive enough. A lot of standing around, holding angles, waiting for people to come to him, which just never came. I think if G2 have the mindset of just go out and go get your kills rather than wait for them to come to you, they will have a much better time.
Well, look at where he got all those kills from. Directly underneath New Hatch.
Yeah.
Well, directly underneath New Hatch. Directly underneath Skylight. Like, those are exposed angles.
You don't challenge, yeah.
Those aren't hotspots. They're not places you really want to be for all too long. And Kanto, because of the early advantages that G2 were able to get and how much focus there was in clearing utility from the side of Parabellum, they were able to play in those more aggressive locations. So that nade just destroyed the air jab?
Not entirely sure what he went for the nade. What did he try and get rid of? I don't know. I really don't know. But hey, we move. We move. Right. So, next bomb site going to be the reading. This is pretty typical. Essentially, what teams like to do is set up the exact same way as if you're defending upstairs, and what a C4 from Virtue. Penguin off the board, and that's the hard breach gone as well. That's going to be a bit of an issue for Parabellum, as there is still plenty of reinforced walls that G2 can hide behind.
Parabellum have just got to jump through so many hoops here to gain any significant advantage. We've got Kayak still being allowed to play there inside of the bathroom, but he is instead going to get taken out by Spirits as some coordination starts to trickle in from Parabellum. They managed to remove him there behind that shield, but they've spent quite a lot of their utility to get to that point. Spirit shuts Kanto down with a bit of a turn and burn there inside of shop, and it's going to do something to level things out here.
Spirits in this entry. Looking very scary at the moment. Low HP though, has to be careful. Even just a whiff of a Toxic Babe will be enough to put him down, but Parabellum, they have that man advantage. Sure, they've lost the hard breach, but now they have that overwhelming man presence. And Spirits, once again, moving his way down, and he gets another kill. Gets traded though, so Uno has not been down, or he's been down, but he hasn't been finished off. Citizens there trying to give the cover, but cannot win the engagement. Parabellum, wow, didn't even really use their utility, just walked down, got the kills, and away they went.
Scrappy stuff there from both sides, really. That entire round coming down to the white corridor. You know, not the most iconic
what,
zone.
5-6 kills there coming from that one area?
Not the most iconic zone here on Kafe, but that was where that round was won and lost. Parabellum didn't really get close to the typical, get into cocktail, open up the floor, playing around pillars, start to pressure down. None of that. It was all fought on that white corridor. Parabellum coming out the better for it inside of that round. Maybe a question of sort of overextending there from G2. I think once you've lost that second man upstairs on the roam, you are left wanting. You are trying to equalize and bring that man count back just so that you can retreat and not be at such a disadvantage. But ultimately, it cost them the round.
That was a reading room defense, and all the kills happened upstairs. I mean, G2 just chasing those kills, which I think I like this G2 playstyle better than the other one that they played throughout the week. That's like the biggest thing, because a lot of those engagements, Ollie, those could have went in favor of G2, and they could be 2-up right now. Whereas if you look at G2 before, in some of their rounds, they never really had a chance. This is giving them that fighting chance.
We're going to be taking us downstairs to kitchen this time. So we spoke about the sort of bakery take or the freezer hatch take. Despite the Thatcher and the Maverick both being banned, we're not actually going to see any sort of hard denial for the hatch. We are going to see the mute for the walls, but we're not going to see anything really for that kitchen, that freezer hatch drop. That's just going to be surrendered here by G2. Not the end of the world, something that you can look to try and hold for a little bit longer and have the attackers waste a couple of grenades trying to get the way on through. But nades are plenty this side for Parabellum, running both Sledge and Diana. It's going to give them a good opportunity there to root some of those players out and the utility.
So one big thing that we see now a lot, obviously with this freezer hatch meta, and why is there a roaming Maestro? Maybe just, I don't know, drone hunting perhaps, Kayak, trying to pick some of them off. Actually stays as well. Okay, right. We'll come back to him, but one thing about the G2 setup is they're playing very heavily in towards the restaurant VIP side. That is what they want to try and hold. You'll see the deployable shield exactly where Kayak has fallen back to. That is a very important position, because not only does that cut off anyone pushing down through the freezer corridor, but it also can kill them as they drop through the hatch. Very, very important to have.
Yeah, typically we see a sort of smoke played in there. We've seen Skies play it quite a lot on smoke and be able to gain some success. Esker gets the chance. How does he miss the headshot there as he's desperately trying to floor bang? Uno, count your lucky stars. You've gotten away with your life there. Esker narrowly going to dodge a C4 as well. So Uno going to think, you know what? I'm not a cat, I don't have 9 lives, so I'm going to take that chance and I'm going to get myself back onto site. Esker now going to be able to use the caver, open up a lot of this floor and set up for a hatch drop. The problem with dropping onto this hatch is, if we look across at what G2 have brought in this round, they have both a Maestro and an Echo. They're going to need to be dealt with before you attempt to plant.
And of course, Kayak have to go back to him in that position, can kill them as they drop through the hatch. They need to try and get in a position where they can aggress on towards the restaurant and the VIP section of the map. But that is a tricky one. I'm sure G2 have plenty of players set up in those positions. Citizen looking over into him. He's actually going to maybe perhaps go for a flank. I'm not sure. Just trying to cover. And Penguin's actually going to try and go for a plant right in a kind of default position towards the sink. This is not what G2 are expecting, and oh my word, Penguin has just pulled off an amazing plant. Nobody from G2 expecting that one, and now it has to be a retake from G2. They have just lost the first blood as well, and another one falls. G2 have been stunned. They were not ready for Parabellum. Penguin making such a big play. Kayak tries best with the LMG, but he eventually gets shut down. Eske as well with another one, and it's all down to Uno. 1 HP in a dream pretty much. Let's see if he can do it. Doesn't look likely. Gonna run away, save a bit of time, talk about what's happening with the team, but in the end, Parabellum gonna take this round convincingly.
A tough round there for G2. Not enough time to get that disable onto the diffuser. Mino knows that, and he's just going to instead sit upstairs and wait out the clock. That is the second time, Demo, that we have seen Parabellum take the initiative on a site that G2 has looked to retake onto or defend with utility. And it's the second time we've seen them actually just sneak on through and get a plant down.
Yeah,
Think back to Villa. Think back to Villa when we saw
they did it on
room
the
and library.
living room, yeah.
We saw that exact same thing there from Parabellum. This Parabellum team are not afraid to just get on in. If they see an opportunity and they think that people are all wrapped up in, you know, whatever it is, holding these common spots, they're just going to go for a slightly off default plant, get it down, and worry about it later.
Parabellum have nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing. Same way we talk about Makers. They're here for the ride. That's it. However long their journey is, they don't care. They made it here. G2, on the other hand, expectations of that team, massive. Massive. So, I think Parabellum, they have no weight at all on their shoulders. G2 have all of it.
G2 have just taken a tactical timeout there. Obviously, after the first couple of rounds there, not feeling like things are entirely going their way. Trying to regain some composure. I believe we're going to be coming toward the end of that timeout pretty soon, as it did start just as we started some of the replays. The guys have been talking for a couple of seconds now. Morale doesn't look too low on the team. I think visually they look like they're going to try and bring it together. Kayak, the good old fist bump, just trying to get everyone back on side. But we've seen 3 rounds there from G2. They're going to be the 3 sites that they're going to try and defend. And aside from the top floor, we've not seen them play exceptionally well. And that's kind of unusual because the top floor is a site that there are opportunities for the attackers.
Yeah. Mental game now for G2 is where I turn my eyes to. I worry for them. We look at their first play day back in Group A a long time ago now, it feels. What happened against Team 1? Sit and pray, 6-2 up. G2 coming into this competition looking good. Bang. Team 1 win the game. Sweep them. What happened in our first map today? G2 looking good, sitting pretty. Bang. Parabellum sweep him. Mental is a massive thing. And if that's already chopped for G2, pack your bags home.
Well, this is it. This map could be very deciding here for G2. If they lose here, they're going to be out. You know, this is a lower bracket game, and I don't think we can stress that enough. But G2 lose here, and that will be it. That will be the end of their run inside of the Invitational. They'll be heading on home. So it's a must-win game here for G2. Parabellum, slightly less pressure, but with the way that they're feeling, they don't look to be playing under any significant pressure, Demo, as you say. These guys are just happy to be here and playing Siege. And so far, they're doing a good job of it.
So, G2 heading for the top floor. One change that I'm seeing being made is they have sacrificed the castle barricades in favor of the Echo. Castle was used, I think, to great effect as well, being able to cover off certain angles that actually kept Virtual alive for quite a while also. Parabellum, they've seen that setup. Looks as if they're not going to try and go for the atypical red stairs. They might be on for an east side take, which is extremely difficult to pull off. They have got the first blood. Citizen is gone. And once again, Parabellum have that early lead. Ollie, disadvantages of going for the east side is it is difficult to coordinate. You're going to need a lot of coordination to pull this off. This isn't something you can just pick up on the fly. You need to have prep for this very heavily.
There was sort of remnants of an east side take when we saw them attack onto Reading Room. You know, we saw a lot of the pressure coming in from White Corridor. That's a key zone when you're looking to try and take toward this east side. Kanto's got himself down there with a nade as they continue to rain on in. Spirit, in fact, no, sorry, Spirit's underneath there with the breaching rounds, and Nade will, though, finish Kanto off. Spirits gets down by Virtue as Virtue tries to regain some advantage here. A C4 in hand, going to get tossed on up, unlikely to do damage, but no, does do half health onto Euphoria. Control quickly being lost, though, by G2, and they need to try and find another pick here, because the pressure and the angles that are coming in from Parabellum is significant. With Virtue playing below without the C4, it kind of renders him a little bit useless here. Sure, he's got the shotgun and the SMG, but that's not the best kit, really, to be challenging onto those vertical angles.
Oh, Penguin going to go for the drop through the skylight and trying to maneuver, but Kayak is sat right beside him. No idea, and that might be a game changer of a kill for G2. Kayak, another one perhaps? No! Sonar is there, finds the kill, and now it's going to be advantage back into Parabellum's court. Uno creeping up, has a lot of long angles to play with. Some yellow pings also to try and assist him. Virtue still below, trying to hold on to the vertical game. Diffuser gets picked up. Uno, oh no, misses the shot now. Diffuser being planted, the rotation in towards the skylight has also came in. Virtue's right below, but no, cannot stop the Diffuser. One drops right beside him. Virtue will land that kill, but there's a 2 versus 2. One man on skylight, one man in the bomb site also. Virtue below. Uno now creeps in towards the bar. Euphoria, all the pressure on you. He has to try and hold that Diffuser for all he's worth. Uno, what a swing, and Esk is gone now at 2 versus 1. This is a very difficult position. Euphoria, this is not the best plant that you'd like to be in. It's going to actually drop down the red hatch. Uno's going to start to the defuse, and now Virtue has to give the cover. Euphoria moving left and right, and Uno will get that diffuser done. G2, wow, somehow pull off a magical round.
Virtue there with the shoulder cover, that cannot be underestimated there. That down was crucial. I know that the time was coming because the defuse time was nearly said and done, but one-shot headshot. It's all it takes. A lucky spray through that cabinet, and that could have been another round going toward Parabellum. As it stands, G2 were able to step up. Virtue with the vertical play. We questioned it a little bit at the time, and the plant did go down, Demo, but I think on the whole, he probably played that as well as he could under the circumstances.
At that stage, people are probably thinking, oh, diffuser being planted underneath the skylight, one guy in skylight, game's wrapped. It's not the best position. You cannot get a clear angle onto that diffuse, and that's where we've seen him be forced to drop down the red hatch. Yeah, just very, very difficult. In hindsight, could Parabellum plant it elsewhere? Perhaps. Probably, but
it's something we've praised them for previously when they have been able to get those plants down.
They've had great plants, and
they've had really good plant spots. You know, I think back to Villa, there was a couple. There was one on living room and library that was a pretty off default, pretty, you know, just out there and unable for G2 to really do anything about. And then I think back to that all important round, the 0.7 almost clutch from Virtue again. We actually got confirmation on that for anyone that watched Villa when it got really close and Virtue hit the 3 kills and then nearly had enough time for the disable. It was 0.7 seconds was all that stood between him and that clutch. That was a fantastic plan spot from Parabellum. So a little bit uncharacteristic in terms of this series from them, but still early days. G2 have leveled it up, but honestly, Demo, it's felt like a bit of a war for G2 to bring this back to 2-all.
Again, I said it about Parabellum, some of their rounds, they haven't made it easy for them. They have not made it easy.
Ooh.
Citizen.
Citizen's angry.
Spawn Peak. Angry Citizen is the Citizen you don't want to play. I'll put your mind back to what he did against Cyclops. Man was hungry.
We're going to get a replay of this, actually.
Ooh, look at that. That's fancy. Production, by the way. Great stuff. Look at that.
Things you love to see from Citizen there. It's everyone's died to that at some point or another. That garage door is a nightmare here on Kafe.
It's so common, it becomes uncommon.
It does, and, you know, Parabellum just lacks a little bit there in the preparation for that and not keeping an eye on it, but going to lose the Iana, a chunk of information and the drones. Let's see if that slows them down any. It's going to be an opening pick for the first time in a while here for G2. Last time when we saw this site, all the action happened on the top floor.
But the difference is that I think G2 in a much better state. Minimal control in towards the kind of bathroom, which was the area that was pressured last time. They've now kind of sanctioned off some of the walls. They haven't got it open as they did beforehand, so it doesn't give Parabellum as many opportunities. Kai's going to go for the swing, and a great one at that. Euphoria takes a bullet to the head, and he is donezo. Kayak still swinging away, trying his best, but is not ready as Spirit swings in. But Citizen, great cover, has the refrag. Penguin onto Kanto. A 3 versus 2 and G2. They'll take what they have, and they will leave.
Rightly so as well. Parabellum still have a lot of tools to pull this round off. You think towards Sledge and the ability to open up that floor. Penguin as well, going to be able to keep an eye on things on the drone, and there are still plenty of drones available for these guys. Sorry, one drone available for these guys. A lot of time to work with here as well. A minute to start opening up this floor, find the vertical angles. We can have the floor open by Esker and then peeked onto by Penguin. Really keep G2 guessing here. As such, we're seeing players actually have to play offside. Esker going to be able to pick off Virtue there. You only think that there was some information onto that. That isn't a kill that you can really afford to lose at this point.
Well, I don't think they know that Uno is going to be sitting inside of Train, and if they want to try and go for this drop, it will be a shotgun, but Uno peeks. No! No, the time you don't need to play aggressive. It will get punished. Now Citizen inside of the 1 versus 2. If anyone from G2 can pull it off, it will be Citizen. Penguin now rotating in towards Pillars. Citizen by himself inside of Reading, holding on to the fireplace. But Parabellum now turning their attention. Citizen should hear that now. Both of them are going to have to double up. The Banshee's going off, but Citizen, he thinks there might be another one pushing from behind. Now he hears both of them. Diffuser going to be planted. Still has a C4 as well. He has to make this land. Citizen with a swing. He finds one. Has to get the Diffuse character, and he gets it. Yes, Citizen. There he is. Finds it. G2 still alive.
Citizen likes to keep it exciting, doesn't he? He had the C4 there. I was thinking, yep, nice little C4 toss out. You're going to be able to pick up at least one of those. But no, just slowly but surely creeps his way around the corner. Pre-firing as he goes. That is enough for G2 to secure another round here. It should not have come down to a 2 versus 1. That is the ultimate takeaway from that round. What did he start off at? A 4 versus 3?
5 versus 3.
5 versus 3, and that comes down to a 1 versus 2 against them.
Uno, in that position, was in a prime spot as well. Like, that's a tricky position to kind of root somebody out of, especially whenever they don't have the utility. That's a shotgun you're going to have to drop into. But still, Citizen is the man that we always look to for G2. Ever since he joined this line, I mean, ever since he got into Tier 1 Siege, he's been phenomenal. Look back to his Pro League finals in Japan. The guy broke a kill record. Like, come on. He's good.
Currently sitting at 6 and 3, double positive so far, 1 kill per round. Kanto, for all that he started off strong with that quad, he's not really been there in terms of kills really for G2 in the last couple of rounds. Now things have shifted. We've seen G2 be successful in the last couple of rounds. They've managed to pick up there in Reading Room. Bar and Cocktail was a close affair as well. So going to be going back downstairs into the kitchen bakery. This was where we saw the sneaky plant. This is where Penguin, as we know him to be able to do now, worms his way on into the site, manages to get it down, and then it just throws a big cat among the pigeons of G2, and they just get left wanting a little bit. They bring all of this denial, and it isn't something that they're able to actually make use of. In this round, we're seeing a shift demo. G2 are reading into that, and they're going, you know what? We're not going to play the Maestro, we're not going to play the Echo. Instead, we're just going to try and play denial. But the one piece of denial they have just lost is going to be Kanto on that smoke.
God, them cats and them pigeons at it again, Ollie.
It's, if you've ever seen it, it's quite a sight.
Don't know if I want to see a cat amongst the pigeons, to be honest. That may be a little bit...
The pigeons just fly off, but it's chaotic.
Oh, flies, okay, good. I'm glad the pigeons are safe. Right, okay, Parabellum have that kill, like you said, onto the smoke as well. Denial gone, and another one. G2 losing players by the second. Spirits has been down, but in a safe position to get picked up. Euphoria, of course, has to be careful. There's plenty of openings, and he could get swung from. Euphoria will secure that revive now. Kayak, so you thinking of going a little bit aggressive? Citizen also on the white stairs. The G2 players, not in sight. They are spread out heavily, and Citizen, goes to the swing, misses them as they run into the bomb site. And once again, Parabellum in a great position to stick this defuse. Here comes the swing from Kak, the C4 as well. Oh, but no, gets shot midair. Not ready for Eska. A phenomenal play, phenomenal cover. That's a hype man everyone wants to have in your corner. Citizen finds Sonar and still fighting through this freezer. But is it going to be enough? Still 4 bodies alive and so many different angles. He has to worry about Virtue as well, trying to come in, but that crossfire, Eska again. What a round from him, and Virtue trying his best. Hey, hold on a minute, Ollie, we've been here before. Can he make this one a success? He finds one. Flashbang's getting tossed free. Here goes the C4 of his own. Will it connect? No, it does not. Virtue not ready. So many angles still for Parabellum in play. Wow, Parabellum. Adapt, adapt, adapt. Into the bomb site they go. Diffuser, the cover, everything. A picturesque round for them.
It's Siege at its simplest demo. You know, win a round as an attacker, get the diffuser down. That is what you've got to do. You've got to be able to get the diffuser down. It's one of the easiest ways to come away with the round, save just getting 5 headshots. You know, that isn't something that you can count on every time. What you can count on is teams seeing an opportunity, picking their moment to strike. And this isn't something that Parabellum are trying to do all the time with all 10 players left alive. They'd got the 2 opening picks there. They'd taken down Kanto. Kanto in that position was trying to deny the plant. He was there as the anchor on site, looking, saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to use the smoke canisters. We're either going to deny them pushing on in, or we're going to try and deny them when they try and get the plant down. Neither of those things are a factor if Kanto gets taken out first. Then we lose Uno. All of a sudden, there's such a man deficit, and G2 still haven't moved back on into the site. G2 are still trying to hold from these outside positions, and because there's only 3 of them, they can't hold every angle. Parabellum get themselves in, the defenders become the attackers, and Parabellum make it look easy. 3-3 now here on Kafe. As the rounds that have gone in Parabellum's favour, particularly downstairs, have been pretty convincing. You can see there on the screen the 2 plants that Parabellum they've achieved 3 plants, but the 2 plants that they've achieved and then 1 have both come from downstairs in that kitchen.
So G2 on the attack. Haven't won an attack today, losing all of their attacking rounds on Villa, but they got off to a great start. Kanto, was that just from spawn? I think it might have been. Eski, I don't know if he was trying to spawn peek, but Kanto will find the kill. I think he was going for a spawn peek as Kanto's taken just a little bit of damage. Parabellum, extremely risky, and more a 2-tap. It might have been a 1-tap, but still two bullets.
Impressive stuff there from Kanto. One of the dangers, really, of Kafe, isn't it, is getting into the building safely. You know, we talk about these top-down clears where attackers want to get in onto the roof and open the hatches. That isn't always something you can do for free. You're going to get hassled. You're going to get shot at on your approach to the building. Kanto certainly not sleeping on that one. It's going to be his first kill since round number 1. He's starting off his attack a little bit stronger than he finished his defense, at least. Yeah,
Kanto having that big round on the castle, but since then, just kind of withered away on the sidelines for G2. Let's see if he can continue a good run of form on this Buck on the attack. And Citizen, great pick as well. Penguin aggressed on the Kayak. And that is the Habana. I mean, that is definitely worth the trade. No hard breach now for G2, and that's going to make things very, very difficult for them indeed.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and press this man advantage now by securing trades. That's something that we've not seen be all too strong here from G2 in their attacks over on Villa. So it's a difference that they need to try and make here on Kafe. You can see just Virtue going to be calling out on his scanner. Any pieces of utility. Uno may be looking to make use of that information. Worried about the runouts. Because, I mean, despite the man disadvantage that Parabellum are currently in, the runout is still possible. You know, you can grab yourself a nice little kill and just give yourself that advantage back. Euphoria are going to be on these white stairs. There's going to be a player directly on the other side of that of that barricade. Zuno's going to try and gather some intel here on the drone. Quickly gets shut on down. I'm surprised Euphoria can't hear him there, you know.
I'm loving this rotate, though, from G2, realizing that they don't have the hard breach. Their initial push will not work, and now they've resorted to an east side take. I mean, if you're down in numbers, pushing in through white along with the window pressure you can apply is a good idea, definitely for G2 in this scenario. But Ollie, they need to make the kills happen.
Oh no, Virtue didn't have the intel there. He's going to get taken down. The kill comes out as a trade, though. That's the advantage of getting the opening pick right there. Very quickly, we find ourselves in a 3 versus 1. Sonar, he has a C4 to play with, and with the push coming in from only one direction currently from G2, there's a chance he's going to be able to make something happen here. Tosses out the C4, will find one onto Uno, but immediately gets taken down by Citizen. That is a different G2 right there on the attack.
Yeah, G2, quick, snappy, being able to adapt in any environment they're put into. So yeah, great stuff. Mirror windows without the Habana. you're going to be running into a brick wall. It's not going to work. G2, 100% making the correct decision, doubling up in towards the white stairs, getting that trade. They have that man advantage, which I think getting that one single trade, it went into a 3v3 at a stage, but it was a sacrifice to give them white stairs control. And as soon as G2 had that white stairs control, everything was open to them. All lanes open.
It's a flashy kill there from Citizen. He's just wiggle peeking out there on the rappel. Euphoria tried his best in that situation. I'm surprised he turned around, you know.
I don't know if anyone picked that up. Virtue traded himself to get the Banshee. Like, that's dying for your cause. All he had to do was get that Banshee. He knew he was going to die, but then it enabled the swing. It enabled the flood to open. Just little things like that really separates G2.
We move now into round number 8. Parabellum, they're going to mix things up. Oh, no, they're not going to mix things up, sorry. They're going to continue with this top floor defense. I imagine this time that Eska's probably not going to go for the same spawn peak. I think that's something that could have been a bit of a difference maker there. A C4 that got lost early on into the round
just
as
Eska
well.
As well, just having him, he has had a great series so far for Parabellum. So somebody you want to try and keep on your side at all times. 10-4. Right now instead of Kafe. But Parabellum, again, going for the mirror placements. That one's a tricky one. In towards the bathroom, looks right across the open bomb site. A little bit difficult to deal with, but there is nades on the side of G2.
See a couple of ADSs inside of that bathroom as well, so any pressure that does come in from White is going to need to be quite carefully measured there. Big question about Kayak inside of this round. If he's able to stay alive on the Hibana and actually use his utility to open up the wall. I know that we saw the pellets on the wall last time, but they weren't actually able to be detonated. I think that the mute of Penguin just slowing him down somewhat. See the pressure coming in now into this piano area as Kanto's got himself out on the rappel. Uno pressuring into the bathroom as well, but a C4 in the hands of Parabellum. Going to swing and miss as Uno predicts it beautifully.
Uno, lucky enough to get away with that one. And Kayak again has to be careful. Cannot afford to die on that sole hard breach from G2. Next Kairos's go off. What has that opened up in towards the bathroom? So that mirror window that we kind of discussed, it is now neutralized. It's not going to be able to be played by Parabellum. So that's good clear from G2. So they have their foothold. They can now start their take in towards red. They've cleared anything that they could worry about in piano. And then they'll just carry out their take. So for the most part, Ollie, run-of-the-mill stuff from G2. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, they've been able to get themselves into shop there as well, as Kayak has done his job in piano. Can now look to try and open up over onto Cocktail. Bit of a quicker peek there this time. I think he's maybe going to lose his pellets for it, but he's got plenty left in the launcher. It's much slower here from G2. I feel like they're taking the time with this execute, and I don't think it's due to being timid. I think they're just being very thorough in what they are trying to achieve. We've even got Uno over on new balcony rappel as well. Citizen finds an opener.
Massive kill.
He's going to be clearing out downstairs. He's going to take down Eska. Kayak was going for a plant there before being taken down by Sona. Not sufficient cover here from the side of G2. It's going to have left the diffuser in a bit of a no man's land. Virtue is just trying to find the angle through over onto bathroom. The diffuser now needing to be recovered. Euphoria does take down Uno. Virtue's got himself all the way into freezer, but there's so much intel on him. A 4 versus 1 as Citizen is left as the last alive. He's going to get himself into an engagement here on the white stairs. Find himself one, but Sona comes flying over the top rail, finishing off Citizen. And Parabellum say, no thank you, not twice in a row.
From the top rope, people's elbow, right into the heart of G2. Mirror window inside of freezer. One Parabellum that round. Information galore for them. G2 can't really challenge that. I do wonder why G2 don't try and target that last mirror window. Use the Hibana pellets that you have. Use the nades.
I believe that Kayak did. I just don't think that they were able to get it off.
Mute jammer, I'm guessing.
I guess mute jammer.
I mean, you can take that out from the window, though.
Uno's on the rappel.
On the window, like, but not the far one, but like the closer one. I mean, toss some nades in as well. There's plenty of ways to get rid of that, but maybe with the fear of jump outs that I think are very heavily involved with that side of the map, and with G2 having no intention of bringing a Nomad, it is a risky thing to go for.
Penguin. A little bit of Capcan maybe. I love a little bit of Capcan.
Capcant.
There's no greater sound than multiple Capcans going off in a row.
Yeah, just a blitz running through them all.
There's going to be no blitz on the side of G2, but some of those are going to get spotted out there by the drone before it gets taken on out. It just gives G2 something else to worry about. And I think I commented on it in the previous round. G2 really spent a great deal of time in that last round. A Capcan is just another tool to add another 20 seconds onto a clear. And with a game of such fine margins, 20 seconds, a massive amount of time.
It is. I think this game so far, Ollie, has been way too close to call. Very back and forth. I personally don't really know who's going to take this next round. I usually have like a good sense, but this map is just out the window. Kafe especially. Trying to predict Kafe, it is just crazy, and talking about crazy things, here comes a rush from G2! Out of nowhere, they have stormed in towards the kitchen and they're taking everything that they can have. G2 have just hit Parabellum with the 1-2 good night. Penguin on your beloved Capcan, Ollie, what can he do? He finds one kill to pad the stats. But now Parabellum are in the position that G2 probably filled in for a lot of their defensive rounds. Penguin trying his best, gets another kill, sure, but with 30 seconds to go, 3 men still alive for G2, fires a C4 out, but nothing comes off it. Wow. G2 giving Parabellum a taste of their own medicine.
Absolutely, you can see a wry smile on Shas's face there as well, obviously pleased with how that one has pulled off. Sometimes, if you take a little bit of time inside of a round and you look like you're moving a little bit slowly, the last thing in the world that anybody is going to expect is a rush. Not repeatable, but certainly something you can get away with once.
Get you around.
Wins you around, puts you ahead here. That's the most important thing. That was a massive round.
It was.
5-4 is a big scoreline. It's one away from match point. Now G2 can look to focus, really knuckle down here and try and pick up this next site. It's going to be kitchen and service again. I doubt that they're going to go for a rush this time, but it is always going to now be in the back of Parabellum's mind, like, you know what, we need to respect this because that was pretty scary.
And again, maybe that's just down to the ideology of nobody attacks bakery. Nobody goes there. Parabellum, barricading off the prep. No, you know, nobody would ever barricade that off back in the day, but because nobody ever attacks it, and G2 are usually going for the freezer side, yeah, they're not ready for that execute, and it worked extremely well for G2. Again, Ollie, like I said, a game, you cannot predict where it's going to go. Hey, I'm on the roller coaster of my ticket, and I'm just enjoying it. I am.
Here for the ride, Demo. G2 now going to be 5-4 here. Going to look to make it 6 and take us all the way to Clubhouse, which will be our decider if we need it. Parabellum, don't forget, they won Villa. So if Parabellum are able to claw it back here, pick up 3 rounds, then that'll be the series done 2-0. But G2 have got something to say about that, I believe. And with the way that we've seen them amp it up over the course of these last couple of rounds, I imagine that we're going to be going all the way here. Kanto just taking his time. He's waiting for some information to come out on the drone. He's got the skeleton key and is going to be able to quickly switch there, deal some significant damage onto Penguin. Sonar has also been chunked down quite a bit as he's going to retreat.
He's not sticking around, Ollie. He takes a bit of damage and out of there, and Sonar. Timing. Siege timing in a nutshell, Ollie.
Good rotation kill there from Virtue as we can see just how well G2 are coordinating here. You could see Kanto was looking over at the other monitor to make sure that he got the timing right on opening up that barricade. Penguin going to finally be taken down there by Kayakers. As these defenders are making the rotations back to the site, lines of sight are being held, and G2 are able to pick them off as they go.
Minute 45, and Spirits is still on the hunt, on the roam, and he has to make a big impact. This could be a make or break. If he finds 1 kill, a fighting chance for Parabellum. It will be a 4 versus 3, but if he doesn't, then a 2 versus 5, which doesn't even matter. That's what's going to happen. Spirits finds 1, and is nobody aware that where they've been killed from? It looks as if they're not worried about Spirits, and they're going to try and flood the site and eliminate Euphoria. There has been a late rotate, I believe, in towards Bakery as well, and Euphoria, is he ready for that? Is he expecting someone else to come in? And Virtue, no, gets blocked off by that oven, and now Euphoria has to dance around these vertical angles being held, but look at the diffuser placement, Ollie. Spirits has it in his possession.
I think the diffuser is actually going to be upstairs, just inside of Oh, sorry, it's on the white stairs there,
yeah.
as Spirits is directly challenging onto it.
Oh my
word. We're seeing the Capcan trap detonate. That's going to net Penguin a kill. Spirits, he manages to take down Citizen. It's all down to Uno. This was a round that looked as though it was locked in for G2, and Uno has been pressured from every which way. He's got plenty of time, he's got 40 seconds, but look at his health. He's having to check every single doorway now as well. That's going to slow him down a little bit further. And of course, he's in the 1 versus 2. He's not got anything left inside of the lifeline. Looks as though he may have a little bit of information, but not too much to be going off. He's only really got an inkling as to the room that the player's in, not exact locations. Maybe going to try and stick the plant here, but it is risky stuff indeed. Euphoria could look to try and move on this, and will! Takes down Uno, levels things up 5-5 here on Kafe.
I don't believe it. I do not believe it. 2v5. And Parabellum win that round. Spirits. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I don't know. G2, extremely well, getting those picks. We've seen Spirits on the roam, right? Sure, gets 1 kill. But G2, did they know he was there? I mean, he just killed the guy who was upstairs with you, and they just let him be. They ran away from him. And it has costed them massively.
A really tough round there for G2 to swallow, as they had such an upper hand inside of it.
Oh my word.
Spirits being out there on the roam, just that unaccounted for entity, able to pick up some really impactful kills, join Euphoria. Euphoria played a blinder from inside of the site, using those reverse vertical angles. He managed to get it down and then toss the C4 on through. That's a huge bit of site play there coming out from Euphoria. Capcan traps win rounds. Called it. Love him.
Never thought I'd see that be a correct statement, but in that scenario, 100%.
Time's running short, everyone's chipped. That's going to be a difference maker. You can see how it was slowing Uno down in the final few seconds. He had, what, 5 health, if that? And he's having to look left and right on every single door frame. You can't always afford to do that, especially if you're challenging onto a gunfight or you're looking to aggressively push on through somewhere. You haven't got the time to be checking every single door frame. The Capcan coming in huge there. Penguins are going to be well happy with that one.
So 5-5, again, scrappy as it comes. And this is a big round, Ollie. This decides who gets the match point, who will be up against it, and who gets a bit of a safety net if needed. Will it be G2 or will it be Parabellum? Both teams have looked good in areas and both teams have looked weak in areas, Ollie. It is a game where you just cannot call how it's going to end up. Clutches galore, chokes galore, everything you could want from a siege match. This is it.
A bomb has been located.
Big round here for G2. They don't want to be going up against this match point here. Spirit's going to be holding Pixel. You can see the rappel line of the player there, and he's going to take his chance at a little bit of pot shots. He does actually manage to connect there onto Kanto somewhat, but it's going to be a C4 that does the damage in the opening part of this round. Uno gets himself taken on out. Again, an advantage early for Parabellum.
Uno having a rough series so far, has not been performing when needed for G2, and G2 again on the back foot. Only adapt to this one. Good thing is Kayak's still alive, that hard breacher that is a necessity for them, and Kayak just very easily sweeps in, tries to pick off some utility around the site, some information as well, and just keeps on moving. I mean, Kayak, a lot of confidence in how he's playing this right now, but he has to be careful. He is the Habana. We see a change, Ollie. We see a Kaid be brought for Parabellum, which is going to lock out a lot of those reinforced walls, and that's going to be difficult for G2 to try and get over.
It's just something else to slow them down here. These attacking pushes have been quite slow so far from G2. And that extra little bit of utility, something else to try and deal with, something to commit a grenade to, especially when you've only got 2, is really going to add into how much time it takes to clear on out this top floor. Sonar going to get himself taken on out there by Citizen. Euphoria trades back over onto Kanto. Still an advantage here for Parabellum. Citizen just going to commit back up to the roof. Virtue's able to gather a ton of information here, but there's nothing really that G2 can do about it. They've only got 1 nade left. Losing Zafir early has cost them in terms of the lifeline. Citizen now going to get himself onto that east rappel and try to put a little bit of pressure in from that balcony. Okay, just helping him out a little bit there, as I think there's probably some utility, maybe even a yokai drone that's going to be up in one of those corners. Penguin's got a horrible bullet hole to play with here, but Spirits comes in with a frag over onto Kayak. Citizen, he has to commit here. He hops himself on through, will find one before getting taken out as well. Spirits, he's going huge from inside of the freezer. He finds his third onto Virtue. It's going to be a match and series point here for Parabellum.
This little team from Canada giving it everything they can against G2. Parabellum, series point. A chance to progress into the next round, to knock out G2. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Do or die time here for G2. This is a lower bracket game. This is not a game that you can afford to lose. If you lose this here, you will go home. G2, they've looked slow on attack demo. I really worry for them here and now. They have to show us something. They've managed to pick up a couple of rounds. I think back to the first round, it was a great start there from Kanto. They were able to get an opening kill and an early advantage. The opening kill hasn't dictated who has won the rounds throughout this game. Citizen has been really hot on getting that opening engagement, but it hasn't been doing anything in terms of round wins. They can get the opening kill, but they can then still come to lose the round. The only other round that we've seen them win on the attack, the rush downstairs into kitchen. They need a little bit more here. They need to find some depth. They're going to be attacking onto reading room. Massive round here coming up for G2.
You have to feel for Citizen. 16 kills, and they're losing.
5 seconds left.
Like, what more can this man put into this game? What more can we ask of him? We're not asking anything from Citizen. We're asking for everyone else on G2. How can you allow one man to solo carry you nearly every single game this Invitational? They need this round. They need to stay in it. G2 need to wake up quick and win this round if they want to stay in. This is it, Ollie. Potential final round for G2 at SI 2021.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Last time we saw them, in fact, sorry, we've not seen them attack onto this reading yet. So it's going to be uncharted territory here for G2. Order of the day typically is to get that top floor control, move on through, open up your vertical angles, get a couple of kills and clear out the roamers, and then execute over onto site. Regularly a site that we can see a plank coming down onto. Citizen going to be the man that's playing outside on this east side. You're going to be concerning yourself with a couple of things. You've got the runouts to contend with, you've got the windows to worry about, and of course you have the door into the bottom of reading. It's going to be your main point of ingress. C4 there, just going to miss on out. So Uno does safely get himself into shop. He's now able to start opening up some of these angles upstairs.
So Virtue getting some information, I think perhaps on an Echo drone maybe? I assume so, that would be what he is pinging out, and don't know, it looks like it maybe. I think it's right there. It's difficult to get an angle on it, but I assume that Virtue with that scanner is correct. And something we see G2 do quite a lot is bring that IQ, send them above, and ping out all of this utility. You can gain everything from the rooftop, and yeah, it's a great position for G2 to be in. Having that information is very valuable. And oh no, are G2 thinking perhaps of another quick rush into a bomb site? I mean, Uno is primed in a good position. He can cut off a lot of these angles, a lot of these crossfires as well. G2 have very little map control right now, Ollie, and I wonder if they're going to try and make it happen. How is that barricade not open?
The barricade has stayed intact, and I guess more importantly, the Banshee that is going to be behind it. G2 are into the final minute now. They're going to have to come up with something. We've not really seen them commit to that top floor and open up any of those vertical angles. So far, we're seeing quite a flat push come through as we see Kayak making his way down 90. He's going to have a couple of angles to contend with there if he continues to push on through. Going to try and open up the wall, but he's going to get stopped in his tracks. There's going to be a jammer on that wall. It's going to slow the roll down. Uno now looking to push in through Fireplace, but again, that is an angle that is being watched by these white stairs. Penguin, he's felt no pressure from that top floor, but he has felt a bit of pressure there from Kanto, but he manages to find two important kills there as Esker picks up two massive frags on the white stairs. Euphoria takes down Citizen. It's a 4 versus 2 now for G2. Spirits takes down Uno. Kayak, the last man standing. He's going to be able to find one, but it's likely going to be impactless. Look at how much time is remaining. He's got multiple kills to find and only 3 seconds to do it in. Spirits gets that final kill. Parabellum, they advance through this lower bracket.